Welcome to a beautiful fall day here at Road America, America's National Park of Speed, for the 60th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Sunoco. I'm John Phippen, so glad to be with you. Tom O'Gorman next to me in the commentary booth. Let's head down to the third member of our broadcast team, Hayward Wagner on pit lane.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's a bit blustery here at Road America this afternoon for F Production. Obviously, this is one of the races everybody wants to tune in for, everybody wants to watch. This has produced some great racing over the last couple years, and we've got three cars at the front that are conceptually similar, but some real differences. On pole, again, Cliff Ira. Cliff has kind of cracked the formula here. This Del Sol came from Honda with a 1.6 liter to the B16. That lets him run a little bit lighter than the rest of the class because he's a 1.6 liter weights in F production based upon displacement. The two cars behind him, Kevin Ruck and Joe Moser, both driving Integras. Ruck has been a perennial bridesmaid in this class for several years. He does have championships here, but has had a tough run the last couple of events. This car with the 1.8 liter runs a little bit heavier than the Del Sol. And then behind that, Joe Moser. Here's what's interesting about Ruck, though. He's building his own engine. Joe Moser with King Motorsports, they build their own stuff, but that is a business that builds race motors. At the front, you've got Ira with a Jesse Prather racing engine, but Kevin Ruck is kind of that old school privateer approach, builds his own car, builds his own engine. He's qualified second.
Tom, I had a discussion with Kevin Ruck at Mid-Ohio, and he was really concerned. He's had a very, very difficult weekend, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, let's take our fans around this beautiful 4-mile, 14-turn facility.
And we've got some cool cars coming up. F Production always has so much excitement, but we do have that difference in the Honda-powered front-wheel drive, the Mazdas, bringing up that second half of the top 10, really. But the Hondas are going to stretch their legs typically here in that first sector down into turn 1, and then obviously the downhill run into turns 3 and 5. Heavy braking zones, and then long straightaways. So you're doing log speed adjustments with those brakes. Then we get into this handling section, we'll call it. Turns 5 through 11 are really, really where you need the car to be handling well. And these cars are not allowed to alter the aerodynamics too much as far as big wings, diffusers, splitters, things like that. So they got to get it all mechanical grip through the carousel into the kink before another long straightaway, another braking zone into turn 12, obviously Canada corner, then up through Billy Mitchell Bend at turn 13, and then the uphill run from turn 14 back to the start-finish line, as you see in the background, a massive hill to climb.
Indeed. This is a beautiful facility, and a little more overcast than it's been so far this weekend. Don't know if that's going to create a factor, but let's take a quick break before we send the cars out on their formation lap and thank the folks that make this broadcast possible.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Welcome back to the championship run for F Production. Let's introduce the 26 cars on the starting grid. Three-time Tire Rack pole winner Cliff Ira on the pole once again in the number 36 out of the Kentucky region, the Kansas City region, excuse me, in his Del Sol. Right behind him, two-time national champion Kevin Ruck in the number 73 from the Ohio Valley region in an Integra. Joe Mosier, we've seen this weekend in the number 64 out of the Detroit region, a 5-time champion in his Acura Integra. Mason Workman in the number 52 from the Ohio Valley region in his Miata, picked to be on the box by Sports Car Magazine. David Strickmatter, another Ohio driver from the Ohio region in the number 28, also an Acura Integra. Then we've got a whole string of Mazdas. Bill Hingston in the number 08 out of the Colorado region in a Miata. Charlie Campbell in the 89 from the I always have to look this up. Misery Bay region. There we go. In his Miata. Then we got the Integra of Ken Kennard in the number 51 from the Atlanta region. Car 47, David Bednars from the Detroit region in a Miata. Doug Weaver in the 03, just behind him, and from the Detroit region, also in a Miata. Stephen Powers in the 145 from the Arizona region in a Miata. Steven Simons in the number 63 from Houston in a Miata. Eric Greisinger, a rookie making his first runoff start in the number 69 from the Chicago region in a Miata. Then we have the Honda CRX of Thomas Gatos, another rookie in the 118. He's from the Ohio region. Yet another rookie in the 2 is Bill Verdian from the Milwaukee region in a Miata. Mark Webber trying to extend his championship starting string. He has got 67 starts in runoffs competition, the most of any driver, and he's also racing in E-production later in the weekend. Mark Webber in the 25 out of the St. Louis region. He, by the way, was the winner of the Hawk Break through Performer Award for making the biggest improvement between Tuesday and Wednesday qualifying. Gerald Lamb starts 17th in the number 42 from the Milwaukee region in a Miata. The final rookie in the field starts 18th. That's Wiley Timbrook in the 02 out of the Colorado region in a Miata. Michael Froh in the 72 from Milwaukee in the Miata. Paul Jensen in the 188 from the Continental Divide region in a Miata. Then we've got Mike Natt from the Milwaukee region in car number 74 in an MG Midget. Then William Storms in the 112 from the Northwest region in another Civic Del Sol. James Samaras is in car number 95 from the Milwaukee region in a Miata. Joseph Borsch in the number 17 from the New England region in a Miata. Robert Keller in the 29 from the Chicago region in a Volvo P1800. And bringing up the rear of the field, car number 4, Larry Funk from the Ohio region in his Honda CRX SI. So a really diverse group of cars. Obviously, the Hondas at the front, a whole gaggle of Miatas, a Volvo, and an MG Midget thrown in for spice.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that 1968 Volvo P1800. It's very, very cool. I think it might be the second to last car in the line here. But back towards the front, that Civic Del Sol, keep a very close eye on it. Cliff Ira tends to be a very conservative starter. It wouldn't be surprised to see Kevin Ruck or Joe Moser or one of the Miatas, starting with Mason Workman, who's just been on a tear, to try to maybe put him on the back foot a little bit. It happened last year at VIR, and that's how he ended up finishing second, not first.
Exactly. Cliff Ira, a 2-time champion over the course of his runoffs career. He's got 9 runoff starts, 2 wins, a total of 7 medals. He most recently won at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in this class in 2021. Kevin Ruck, also a 2-time champion, but he has not won since Daytona in 2015. As I was starting to say before we went to the break, I talked to Kevin at Mid-Ohio near the end of the season, and he was really sweating getting the car even qualified for the runoffs. He's been chasing an electrical gremlin in the car all year long. It would jump out of time, and he's like rebuilt the motor like 3 times over the course of the season. But he thinks he's gotten it solved, and he's been on the pace here this weekend, qualifying outside the front row. That's him in that sort of copper-colored Integra on the inside. Cliff Ira in the open cockpit Del Sol alongside. And there's the green flag. Ira getting a good jump. Joe Mosier going with it.
Yeah, not a great start for Kevin Ruck. He's going to fall in line over on the right to make sure that more cars don't go up the inside. David Strittmatter with a good start in the yellow Integra. So we've got three Integras line astern. Ooh, and Mosier's going to go to the outside. That's that aggression we were talking about.
Joe Mosier has raced this car earlier because the CRX that he normally would run in STU blew up, and he had to run this car in STU, and it was really not up to the task.
No, side-by-side for the lead, but Strittmatter forcing the issue on Bill Hingston as well. Mason Workman gets shuffled back in a little bit of a slide at the mid-corner, I think, for the 52. So Strittmatter takes it to the floor, to the top 4. All Hondas up there.
And you were just saying, Tomo, about Cliff Ira not necessarily being a rabbit starter, and that's the case here, as he has got 2 cars getting by him. Kevin Ruck making it 3 wide in the run down the hill. Ira goes from the lead to 3rd at the end of this first lap.
And here comes Workman down the inside of Hingston to take that position back. He's now the top Miata. And take a look also for Ken Kennard. That's another one of those Integras. He's buried in the back, but will have some pace. Not happy with his qualifying pace, but he knows he's got more in that car. Obviously a defending champion in this class.
0-3 moves his way up. Doug Weaver all the way up into the top 10. So great run for him. As we see our leader now, Joe Mosier, heading down the hill with Kevin Ruck right behind him. And Mason Workman all over David Strickmatter now. Workman wants to get forward just as quickly as possible.
In theory, this is the sector where the Miatas will come alive just a little bit until maybe towards the second half of the carousel at least, where the front-wheel drive cars start to get that elevation to help that front end to stick just a little bit better. These cars using racing slicks. They have multiple compounds to choose from, mostly running the Hoosier or Goodyear brand of tires in a various compound, of course. But Joe Moser goes to the front with that extra data that he collected, having run his car in a different class when that car's engine failed. He has a lot of extra seat time and a lot of extra development time, where in the runoffs you typically wouldn't have those extra 3 or 4 sessions, and it's paying off for him so far.
Pair of Integras at the front. Here comes Workman once again on Strickmatter. This time, they almost touch. Strickmatter stays wide and gets the job done. Workman coming under pressure from Bill Hingston right behind him.
That was tight. Strickmatter left plenty of room for Workman, but Workman wanted to keep the momentum, and they barely avoided each other. Now look at Charlie Campbell getting himself up there from a couple of positions back. That's the white Miata. Oh, and a big contact for Bill Hingston. Gets caught out by, I think, David Bednarz, and he's going to get trucked in the gravel.
He's pounding on the steering wheel, realizing that he's stuck. I don't think there's any significant damage to the car, as we've got side-by-side racing. We're still green here, and I think Kevin Ruck has got a nose ahead.
He sure does, and it's likely a full course yellow eventually if that car of Hingston is stuck in the gravel. Heartbreak for Hingston. He's 2 years in a row of big incidents on the first lap of these races. Ruck to the point. Mosier trying to get a little bit racy, but goes conservative as he sees Cliff Ira has a lot going on. Maybe don't attack him just yet.
Exactly. Ira working his way back forward after coming across the line in 3rd, or getting shuffled back to 3rd in the course of that first lap, and that's where he is right now as well. But he gets a much tidier line coming off of turn 3 as they head under the Sargento Bridge. Ira and Joe Mosier side by side in the run down the hill. But Kevin Ruck trying to get away here and break this long dry spell. He's been in the medals many, many times, but it's been since 2015 since he's had a gold medal around his neck.
And this is looking very familiar to last year. Kevin Ruck was able to leap out at VIR, and then unfortunately the car just started falling off, and he slowly fell back and ended up not taking the win last year. But so far he's getting that breakaway that he got last year as well. We saw Joe Mosier kind of pick his moment. He got around the outside of Cliff Ira, who now has to deal with David Strickmatter as well. Mason Workman and Charlie Campbell. Let's throw David Bednarz in there. The top 7 have pretty much broken away from a Ken Kennard sitting there in 8th in the black and orange kind of newer styled Integra.
Workman and Strickmatter side by side. Strickmatter in the yellow number 28 Acura Integra.
Good move from Workman around the outside. Of course, track limits are good. You just don't have to be let back on if you go out there. He had plenty of space, gets right back on. David Strickmatter back down to 5th. But Workman looks like he's got some serious pace in that black number 52.
And Charlie Campbell, by the way, this is his last runoffs. He's announced that he's going to retire after this year, so he's just out here having as much fun as possible. Right now, he's in the top 6.
If you notice that purple spec Miata that's got a for sale sign as you come in, that's Charlie. Go buy it.
Exactly right. Kevin Ruck stretching his legs here. Workman going to work on Cliff Ira and gets it done.
Yeah, he's getting busy, huh? He goes right by Cliff under their nice textbook outbraking maneuver. And again, Cliff tends to be a little bit more conservative on defense. He will absolutely take his opportunities and make passes and race. But when he sees drivers make moves like that, he's typically a little bit smarter to just say, not smarter than the other guy, right? But just smart enough to say, hey, okay, we're going to pick our moments. We're going to have this battle back and forth. This is your moment. I'm going to take mine later. Look at it. There's his moment. He's going to pop to the outside or to the inside and use the motor of that 1.6 liter Del Sol just to get by Workman on the straights.
Yeah, he's definitely got the straight line speed advantage over the Miata. As the 02 was able to get out of the 08, excuse me, was able to get out of the gravel trap, so that's great. We did not have to go yellow. So Hingston just going a lap down. That's not great for his race, but Kevin Ruck has already put him 1 lap down. Now the battle for second continues, 3 wide almost as they head down into turn 3. Joe Mosier locks up a wheel as he hits the braking zone. Workman now up into third. Ira back to fourth.
No anti-lock brakes in these cars across the entire field, so everybody's doing it manual brakes and right foot control, maybe left foot for a couple of the drivers, but you saw the little bit of lockup and the shimmy of the knuckles as Joe Mosier trying to hold on to that car under deceleration, and ironically, Bill Hingston was put right back out on track around the cars that he was battling before, just 1 lap down.
Yeah, so if you're watching at home, that multicolored Miata in second spot is a lap down. So the second place runner is the orange Integra right there. And then Mason Workman in the black Miata, the Roadster. And the Del Sol of our pole sitter, Cliff Ira. David Strittmatter in the yellow Integra right behind him.
Look at Ken Kennard in the background to the circle headlights on that newer Integra. He's caught up to Charlie Campbell's going to go for the move down on the inside of turn 8. And it's a deep braking maneuver. They're going to go side by side. It looks like Campbell was able to outbrake Ken Kennard, but he's starting to find some pace.
Field beginning to string out just a little bit. Ruck stretching out his advantage. He set fast lap of the race on the last lap at a 34.8, which is still a couple seconds off his qualifying pace. Look at Hingston, man. He's running at the same pace as the leaders. I'm sure he's upset with the fact that he got nerfed off into the gravel trap, realizing he's got the pace in the car to run at the front.
Yeah, he's basically running where he should have been within a couple of positions, right? So he's going to be maybe a little bit of an issue for Moser and Workman and the rest if they get to him and he's feeling racy. I don't think there's anything that says, other than a gentlemanly rule, to say you have to get out of the way. They're going to show him the blue flags, let him know that they're there. But this could be a little bit of an interesting dynamic dealing with second on back in F production.
This 3-way battle for the second step on the podium is a dandy. Workman with the disadvantage, doesn't quite have the straight line speed of the Del Sol nor the Integra in front of it. So he has to settle for dropping to the back of this group. But then as soon as we get into the handling sections of the racetrack, he has got the superior speed, it looks like. Cliff Ira getting a good run on Joe Mosier, but not quite able to make the pass. But he gets a good exit at turn 1. He's going to try to go down to the inside in the run down the hill, and Workman's going to come with him.
That was nice. He woed up the entrance just enough to kind of get that car hooked up just before the apex, on throttle early, let Mosier take his normal line, but he used the motor of that Del Sol with nice forward acceleration, pulled right alongside and goes to second spot.
Now Workman and Joe Mosier side by side. Workman with the outside line, Mosier on the inside. And now Workman falls in behind as Mosier able to accelerate away as they head down into turn 5. Joe Mosier a little deeper on the brakes, but not able to make it stick. A tap of the brakes there from Cliff Ira, making sure the pads are well bedded.
This battle for second is starting to pull away from that yellow Integra on back of Strittmatter. Weaver actually has moved up a position in the number 03 car over Charlie Campbell. That's the darker colored Miata. Then Ken Kennard and David Bednarz are back there as well.
Strittmatter, Charlie Campbell right behind him.
Oh, as we say that, Doug Weaver had moved up. He's already back to where he was. So that battle is shifting very quickly. Weaver in the silver Miata, I should say. And then that 51 of the blue and green. 47, the blue and green of David Bednarz.
Yeah. But Kennard, you can see the round headlights on that newer generation Integra. Easy to follow.
Oh, Bill Hingston, big off in the kink. Did he say keep it off the wall? He's going to come back across the track. Don't tell me Ira's in there. Ira did get caught. Oh, that's a huge heartbreak. These two drivers had an incident last year and randomly end up with an incident again this year, and 2 cars involved with what looked like a simple loss of control in the kink turned into, left rear damage on the suspension of that Del Sol. Man, you got to feel for Cliff Ira.
What a heartbreak. My goodness gracious. Just an innocent bystander as Hingston spinning for the second time. And unfortunately couldn't keep it off the racing surface as he came right back across the track in front of Cliff Ira. And full course yellow has been brought out because of that. As Ira's car significantly damaged. That left rear is flat. Oh my goodness. What a tough break for Cliff.
Yeah, just kind of a freak incident with the loss of, well, we're speculating just a spin. I don't know that either car even touched the wall, which is kind of a spectacular feat in the kink.
Yeah.
But it is full course caution, just out of precaution. There's definitely been some issues with all the dirt flying in the kink once one car goes off. So it's a smart call to just throw the full course yellow, get the field neutralized, and then we'll get this thing back to green flag.
And I got to give Cliff props, man. Okay, here we go. You can see Hingston doing a 360. And he comes across the track and just nails Ira right there, just off camera. Oh, man. You can see Mason Workman waving his arm to the cars behind, letting them know.
Yeah, really heads-up driving from everybody. No one saying, oh, this is my chance, I'm going to send it through there. Everybody realizing this is a big deal. We just need to slow this thing down and make sure that everybody's safe. You see frustrated body language just kind of defeated there for Cliff Ira, sitting at the apex of Canada corner. And then we don't know if Bill Hingston has any other significant damage from the contact with Ira, but he didn't appear to have much from, didn't appear to have a contact with the wall. So maybe he's also able to have driven back, or maybe just a quick extraction.
Yeah. With the proviso that he was already a lap down, so it won't hurt him that much more, as he's being scored right now in 24th and last. So while we will need just a little bit of time to get Cliff Ira's car out of harm's way there at Canada Corner, let's take a quick break and thank some of the folks that make this broadcast possible.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Ugh, forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Haggerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Haggerty, let's drive together.
Welcome back to Road America as we are in the gold medal round for F production. And unfortunately, our pole sitter, Cliff Ira, caught up in somebody else's issues as for the second time, Bill Hingston having a spin. And he was able to get out of the gravel trap on his own after that first spin there, which may have been assisted in the exit of the Bill Mitchell bend. But the second time, unfortunately, he was not as fortunate. Came back across the track, and Cliff Ira was an innocent bystander, unfortunately, but terminal damage to the left rear of that car, and his chance for his third national championship scotched right there.
Heartbreaking because he's been in it every year of those three.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
he's been involved in kind of these freak incidents just trying to be, honestly, just trying to be conservative and run his own race. So he was able to get pulled out of that gravel trap, switching over to Bill Hingston, got pulled out of the gravel trap by the Road America safety crews. Thank you, safety crews. And was running basically right in the front of that pack. If you're just tuning in, had a spin in the kink and collected one of our front runners in the aftermath of that. But the other part of this that now shifts the makeup of this race, Kevin Ruck had broken away pretty confidently, and now that gap is gone. He's got Joe Moser right behind. One of the factors is no longer there, of course, with Ira being out, but Mason Workman has been incredibly quick in that black number 52 Miata, and now he's got a lot less ground to cover to get back to the lead.
Exactly.
Or to get up to the lead. He hasn't been there yet. He wants to be.
Yeah. Obviously, all of this happened back in the exit of the kink behind Kevin Ruck. And as he came across the line, just as the yellow came out, he had built up a 17-second lead.
Yeah.
And so it's just really tough cheese for him. Another guy with a lot of hard luck in the past several years. A two-time champion. In fact, Ken Kennard winning the Mark Donahue Award in 2023, just a year ago, after his win in F production at VIR. Kevin Ruck was the Jim Fitzgerald Rookie of the Year back in 2014 when he won his first championship, and then backed it up the year following with the win at Daytona. And like I say, he's been in the hunt. He's had the pace every year since. He just hasn't been able to bring it home. So
now, this is a tough class. There's just so many contenders, and the combination of the cars, the tracks that we've been going to, in addition to being garage built and not necessarily the newest cars. There's always mechanical issues, and then a bunch of them are just hard racers, and it ends up being certain people end up in and out, and there's about 7 or 8 guys that could win the championship, and every year someone says, well, next year will be mine.
Yeah, exactly right.
Taking a look at the digital flagging system, it looks like Bill Hingston's car was also still stopped down there at turn 11B, just past the kink. We haven't had eyes on it yet, but the safety crew's been there getting that on a wrecker as well. That one appears to be moving, but I still don't see the wrecker at turn 14 moving for Cliff Ira.
Well, the field's still just coming out of turn 5, climbing the hill. So, again, the safety crews here do a fantastic job. If they can hustle that car out of harm's way, we might well be able to get back to green at the end of this lap. As we're not quite halfway through the time available. 40 minutes is the time limit. Or 13 laps, whichever occurs first. We're working race lap number 6.
There's a look at that Volvo flashing through with the Swedish flag on the left front headlight. Love that car.
Yeah, no kidding. Talking about awards for these drivers, Cliff Ira also a winner of the Fitzgerald Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, his 10th runoff start not going to result in a top 10 finish.
Pretty slow pace out of the pace car. They may be hoping to go green this time by, but that's going to affect the tire temperatures, especially on the rear of the front-wheel drive cars.
Yep.
So keep an eye out. Joe Moser, Kevin Ruck, David Strittmatter, and Ken Kennard. Those 4 of the 6 top front runners are all front-wheel drive Honda or Acura products that are going to be fighting a little bit of tire temperature come turn 1, turn 3, maybe even turn 5.
Get a chance as we follow the field through the kink area. We don't see any evidence of safety workers there with Hingston's car, so yeah, he's already on the move, so that's a good sign. They can duck off right here at Canada if they choose, or are they going to take it all the way around? Yeah, they had to get Cliff Iris up on the tilt bed. That was the reason for the additional delay, but it looks like the safety workers getting back in their vehicles. I think if the pace car slows down, we might have a chance for a start this time by.
They're definitely working on it.
Lights are still on, but we have seen the lights go off even later than normally they click off about now, but we've seen them go off a little later. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done.
We'll see. The sit rep right now, as far as the race goes, is half distance on time, 20 minutes done, 20 minutes to go in that 40-minute window we have. Working lap numbers about to start 7 of 13. So by both measures, we're exactly halfway in this F production race. I don't think we'll have any issues going back to all the way to the 13 laps if we get a restart next time by.
And if we can stay green, which...
And that too.
Yeah, that obviously is an essential point. So we're going to go around one more lap here behind the safety car before we get the field back underway. Pretty good jokes lately, Tomo.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Nothing. I'm just doing something to fill here.
Okay, gotcha.
Running out of things to talk about.
I've been working on my material. Thank you, John.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
You know, I got a chance to wander around. I had those 3 races off plus lunch, and that's not very common. So I actually left the booth and ventured around. I watched Spec Racer Ford as a spectator. That was fantastic. It's amazing to see so many fans out here.
Yep.
The place is huge, so it doesn't feel that packed. But everywhere you go, there's a lot of people around, and they're all, you get the gasps and the cheers and the different big screen TVs around. Everybody gets to see what's happening all the way around the track. The energy here is actually really, really fun.
Indeed.
We don't always get to leave the booth. We have to watch the races here, talk about them, and make them fun for y'all. But it was fun for me to get out there and go spectator race.
Awesome. You got all the way to the beach, I understand.
I did.
That's great.
If you come to Road America, check out the beach outside of the carousel. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Greg Creamer loves to come flag the races for the same reason. You get to get away from the booth. You get to go see the audience and see the crowd and get close to the cars and all that.
Exactly. Best seat in the house.
Yep.
Absolutely. No question about it.
And while it's quiet, thank you to the workers once again and the safety crews here at Road America. Been keeping us safe and under control for the most part here at the runoffs.
I think everybody's aware that we're going to go green this time by, as Kevin Ruck and Joe Mosier already starting to do a little weave. There you get a good shot of some of the crowd lined up there, one of the prime viewing areas, coming down the hill toward turn 5. Arguably the best passing opportunity on the racetrack. Grandstands spotted around the track, fantastic viewing areas. And one of the best things about Road America is the food. It is just so good. Each one of the concession stands with their own unique menu, and it's not like you get the same hamburger at every concession stand. Every concession stand manned by local civic associations, the Kiwanis Club or whatever, and they do a fantastic job of keeping us fed here at the racetrack as well. And we said this in a race earlier, but I'll say it again. Road America really sets a fantastic example for racetracks all around the country of the commitment and the investment that they make in this facility year after year to keep improving it. Repaved the entire 4-mile stretch a couple years ago, and it is really a place that I have the luxury of coming to a couple times a year to announce, and it is one of my favorites without question.
It's a little look at the 118 of Tom Gatos in his, is that the 118 or the 112? Sorry, 112. The Civic Del Sol of Bill Storms. Was racing with his daughter in B-Spec, switched over to F production here, running that Civic Del Sol. Same livery as the Mazda 2s they used to race. Okay. But clinging on to the tail end of this field, getting his feet wet in the production category. It's fun to see drivers move and try different things.
Lights are out on the safety car as the Mazda pace car brings the field through Canada corner. Kevin Rupp, Joe Mosier, Mason Workman, David Strickmatter, Charlie Campbell, your top 5. I'm sure Charlie would love to mix it up with these front three.
Yeah, Charlie always a hard racer, and I'm going to keep an eye on Ken Kennard as well. He's been finding pace in this race, and the Integras are just a little bit better in the straight lines, I think, which makes it a little easier to pass. Keep an eye on Mason Workman, of course. That car's been really, really dicey and fast in the corners, but we've seen it get passed on the straights pretty regularly, so that's why I'm saying maybe Ken Kennard there, that black and orange Acura Integra. Keep an eye on that, but obviously also the front two Integras. I think you have to have an orange Honda to be a successful driver in F production.
It looks like it. All right, climbing the hill as we get ready for the restart here. We are just completing the 7th lap, and we've got 14 minutes on the clock. There's the green.
Oh, and sure enough, look at Kennard. Immediately goes to the outside of Strip Matter, picks up 2 positions right away. Not only was he in the perfect spot to get the green flag, but he was right at the right spot to be in the power band. He just power moves around the outside. Charlie Campbell's going to try to go with him, and then it's the 0-3 of Doug Weaver around the outside trying to make moves in that blue Miata as well.
Mason Workman already challenging Joe Mosier for that 2nd spot as they make the run down to turn 3. Mosier able to hang on to that spot right now, but the 0-3, Doug Weaver really flying as he's following Ken Kennard as they've both gotten around Charlie Campbell.
Kevin Ruck able to break away just a little bit, just like the previous start. It looks like he's got a little more motor in his Integra than the one in Moser. Moser's got to deal with Mason Workman, and now Ken Kennard. There's a 3-way battle for second. I'm going to call it right now. They're all right there.
Into turn 5 comes Kevin Ruck, the 2-time champion. Up the hill he comes. Right behind him, Joe Mosier, the 5-time champion, winning Super Touring Light a year ago.
Unfortunately, go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
The driver that lost out the most on that restart was unfortunately David Stripmatter in the yellow Integra. He dropped back from 4th to 8th. You see him there cruising around back behind the 47 of David Bednar's, which I had misidentified earlier in this race backwards with another driver. I apologize for that. But Stripmatter, unfortunately, now has a lot of work to do. He was in fight for a medal, and now he's in fight for barely a top 10.
Yeah, exactly right. There's Charlie Campbell, then right behind him, the 63 of Steven Simons. Thomas Gatos. A little further back, David Bednar's in the 47 right behind him. Once again, Mason Workman showing that car is really well handling. As in the handling bits of the racetrack, he is all over the back of Joe Mosier, but he just doesn't have the horsepower to challenge him on the straights.
Yeah, hunting left and right. That was pretty intense going down towards Canada Corner. Now the 0-3 Weaver is going to pop out, try to get by Kennard, makes it happen easily. Kennard lets it go. But Mason Workman is kind of hindered right now. I think a bit of a cork in the bottle scenario for Joe Mosier here. We know that he always sets his cars up to be nice and loose, nice and rotating, and that means they're scary in the kink. He's admittedly not the strongest driver/car combo in the kink, and that is what built up this huge line for 2nd place in F production. That's basically 2nd through 9th.
Charlie Campbell going really wide at the exit of 14, but look at Kevin Ruck getting away once again.
He loves seeing this in his mirrors. He's like, yep, race, boys, race. I'm getting away.
Here comes Ken Kennard again using the horsepower, but he's going to get back by both of those Miatas, I think, before we get to turn 1, or at least get close to it. Ruck drops a wheel off at the entrance to turn 1. Kennard not able to close the deal as he gets forced just a little bit wide by Doug Weaver. Once again, here comes Workman down to the inside of Joe Mosier. You can see a little lockup on Mosier as he leaves the brakes as late as he dares.
And this time Campbell goes through on Weaver, and he's going to try to take Steven Simons with him. Simons is on a heck of a charge in the black and yellow Miata, has now pulled up a couple of extra positions, but then the motor of that Acura, he goes almost to the grass, does Kennard, around the outside driver's left, trying to go somewhere, but Doug Weaver's in his way. Now he finds a lane, no, has to come tuck back in.
He's going to stay to the inside, hoping he can do an outbraking maneuver, but he can't do it as this gaggle of Miatas in front of him now, separating him from the two Acuras up in front. Charlie Campbell doing a great job, the veteran, keeping himself right in the hunt for another medal here.
There's another driver we haven't mentioned, Tom Gatos in the 118. That's the orange CRX floating around in the background. He sits in the 10th position. He's now running with David Strittmatter, and he's in the same camera shot as this battle for second. So with the way things ebb and flow in F production, he could absolutely be a contender for even top 5 by the time this thing is done. Look, this almost looks like Spec Miata, but they let an Integra on course. It's Doug Weaver leading the way over Charlie Campbell, Steven Simons, David Bednarz. Those 4 Miatas line astern as somehow Mason Workman has gone by Joe Moser in the carousel.
Yeah, he's always been really strong there. We've seen him really putting the pressure on, and then Moser's been able to answer with the straight line speed. But look at Doug Weaver as he's gotten around Charlie Campbell. And now Steven Simons is challenging Campbell as well.
And with that clear run through the kink, look at the gap Mason Workman was able to put over Joe Moser. Now another position for Steven Simons on the inside of Charlie Campbell. They're going to go 3 wide up to Billy Mitchell. No, David Bednarz thinks better of it. Smart move.
Ken Kennard right bottled up behind this group and coming into the area of the track where he's got a little bit of an advantage. But Doug Weaver is broken away. He's going to try to mix it up with the top 2 in front of him, I think.
Yeah, he's got some serious pace in that blue and green Miata.
Yeah, no question.
Ruck flies by us. We're expecting this race will be right on the line of time versus laps, so we may not get all 13 laps. We have about 9 minutes left on the clock. If you see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen it changed to time, that means we are racing on time, but these guys are racing on the track. Look at this on the outside. Moser trying to get to the outside of Workman. Just ran out of breath at the end and didn't have the brakes to make it work.
Moser, once again, as you said, likes to set up his cars kind of loose, and he has got very busy hands. Those red driving gloves are very, very busy on the steering wheel.
Yeah, you can see it in this shot every lap and down into turn 3. And this is that battle between Strittmatter and Gatos.
Oh, Strittmatter's got a problem.
With mechanical.
Yeah, Strittmatter's pulling off.
Very heads up to move over to the track, to the right side of the track and pull as far off as possible. We'll be able to stay green flag racing with where he's got.
Yep, that's a good job for him to get it right there by the track cutout. In fact, he's going to back it in behind the wall. That's great awareness on his part. It's going to keep this thing going.
This battle is raging. Mason Workman and Joe Moser back and forth. A couple of Ohio drivers, I think, though Joe Moser now lives in Texas, battling it out, Miata versus Integra, and I think the Miata has the handling, the Integra has the power, but it's very, very close because I don't know that Moser has the fastest motor of any Honda in this field. Clearly, Kevin Ruck has been able to just clear these guys out by about 5 seconds now. He's not even in the same shot.
This battle for second spot. Moser, busy hands through the carousel, constantly correcting that car. As they exit under the Mission Foods Bridge and make the run toward the kink.
Something must have happened to Doug Weaver. The 03 has dropped back a couple of positions, I think. Or unless I made a mistake. They're actually much closer to Mason Workman and Joe Moser as they've been swapping positions. That number 03 car, the blue car, is closed up. No, I was correct. He did drop back a couple of positions.
Yeah, both Bednarz and Simons was able to get around him. So Weaver's back there coming under the clutches of Ken Kennard.
And Charlie Campbell's dropped off as well. I have to wonder if maybe Doug Weaver and Charlie Campbell got racing a little bit. A little bit of puff of dust. Someone drops a tire on driver's right. Another drop of dust there for David Bednarz, trying to clip every inch he can off these apexes.
Mason Workman stretching his advantage here, and this is where Joe Moser usually is able to close down. He's definitely got terminal velocity as that car is definitely quicker as he gets at the end of the front straightaway, but he just doesn't get quite enough. And now Bednarz going side by side with Simons as they're battling for the 4th spot. Kennard has gotten around Doug Weaver. So the Acura in the midst of this cluster of Miatas.
This is a former championship winning car with Mark Carpenter at the wheel, I believe at this very track, although over a decade ago. There's a lot of pedigree, of course, obviously also won last year's championship with Ken Kennard at the wheel at VIR. He's using the power to his advantage because he gets by both Miatas. He gets by Bednarz, but now he's challenging for Simons. This is for 5th. It's actually for 4th. Kennard gets through.
Yep, late on the brakes, gets the job done. But Simon's going to try to answer back as he tries the over-under.
Great defense from Kennard, left a lane. He made that move before Simons did. That's a perfectly fair defense.
Yep. He wasn't moving. He just picked his spot and stuck to it. And that's exactly what you're permitted to do. So now Mason Workman going to see if he can keep the handling advantage. He's going to stretch it here through the carousel, I would guess.
This is that section we've seen the Miatas come alive towards the second half of this carousel. The second half of this sector. In Sector 2 through the carousel and the kink. This lap, Kennard looks strong though. Look at him breaking away just a little bit and starting to run down Kenny. Does he have time to run down Mosier? That's actually the question.
Yeah.
Looking at 5 minutes on the clock, coming up to lap number 12 of 13 at a 2.5-minute lap. They are going to finish, I believe, all 13 laps. But I'm bad at math, so we'll keep cheering for Kevin Ruck as he's cleared this field now by 6 seconds. There is the second place driver of Mason Workman, and Joe Moser has dropped significantly off the back.
Yep.
For some reason.
Moser no longer in the hunt for this second spot. I think he's still hoping for a podium, but I think Kennard is thinking, hey, I got a chance for another medal here.
Well, the other part is Moser, with double dipping into the other category, he got a lot of extra seat time. He also got a lot of extra hours on that car.
Yep.
These are built motors. They're strung out to within an inch of their life if they're built well. And if they're not built well, they aren't going to last forever. So it looks like maybe some power issues at this point, just starting to look very slow on the straights is Moser. Kennard going to go by very, very easily.
Yeah, Moser's lapping almost 4 seconds off his best lap, so clearly that car not as happy as it once was.
He's going to race for it, though. Look at this side-by-side for the two Integra drivers around the outside. Kennard's going to have the power, unfortunately. I'm starting to see, I can't tell if it's little sparks or if it's fire underneath of Moser's car on shifts or something. There's definitely a backfire, but Kennard almost misses turn 3, runs wide.
Yeah. Moser's waving him by. Yeah, I think he realizes he's got a problem. And he's letting him by. So Ken Kennard now up into third spot. Moser maintaining as much pace as he can, but he's letting these Miatas get back by him.
Oh, look at Doug Weaver chasing the back of the car through the apex of turn 5 up the hill right in front of that big crowd there, putting on a show. Charlie Campbell gets the position away from Moser as well. After that kind of awkward moment in turn 3, Kennard gathered it back up. And now it's going to be Doug Weaver in the third position, then Simons and Bednarz.
Mason Workman now pretty much by himself, 6.5 seconds behind our leader, Kevin Ruck. And about 10 seconds, another 4 seconds back to now the third place runner, Ken Kennard, looking to be on the box for the second year in a row in this class. Yeah, Doug Weaver's been seesawing back and forth. These four Miatas have just been swapping positions throughout the course of this race as they are very evenly matched.
Yeah, it's a fabulous battle. And these cars are all going to be very similar. They look like pretty serious race cars, but they really are not any much more special under the hood than a spec Miata. They're going to have a couple more horsepower, 10 or 20, but nothing crazy. So this is a highly momentum car. You see body flares, no roofs, obviously.
Right.
But really cool little race cars as all four of them battling it out. Charlie Campbell's got himself back up in this battle. Maybe he can work his way forward and finish out his runoffs career with a top 5.
Keeping an eye on the flag stand, the white flag in the air. One more lap to go. Kevin Ruck has got all his fingers and all his toes crossed right now.
This is when every clunk, bang, grind, and squeak in the race car becomes 10 times louder because you've got nothing to do but finish this lap. It sounds so simple, but it's a very long, long lap. We've got a lot of jockeying here. Bednarz coming up on the back end of Simons, pushes everybody by. Charlie Campbell pops to the inside. He's going to go for that top 5. Going to think better of it down into turn 5, though. Picks up 1. He's now 7th.
Simons and Bednarz, and just as we were bragging on Doug Weaver, he drops all the way to the back of this quartet.
Well, it's not done yet. He's done that a couple times and still ends up at the front of it eventually.
Yeah.
Little dirt drop at turn in for Charlie Campbell, using every inch of the road and grabbing some dirt with the sidewall of that racing slick. As we see Joe Moser across from our commentary booth in the pit lane, so unfortunately no checkered flag for that 64 car. He put on a really good fight.
Simons, Bednars, and Campbell in that order. A little love tap from Bednars on the back of Simons, trying to loosen him up, I think, for the run up the hill.
Yeah, came off the brake pedal and said, I'm not going to let you slow me down. You better go.
Yep.
Just a little exchange of yellow and silver paint just there, but all healthy and fair. And this is the battle for 4th position, so if anything in front happens, this is a medal. Otherwise, it's just the best battle on the track between Simons, Weaver, Bednars, and Campbell.
You know, all the wind we've had, and of course with the fall colors here, you can see the leaves on the grill of Ken Kennard's car as these guys are hoovering up some of the vegetation blown off the trees with the wind. You can see the beautiful fall colors here, but the most beautiful color for this man right now is checkers. Oh no!
No way.
It can't be.
Kevin Ruck with a mechanical
It
issue,
cannot
a
be.
motor lost down into turn number
It cannot
12, and he loses it in his own oil. There's cars coming in with
It
oil on the
cannot
circuit.
be again. Oh my goodness gracious.
Mason Workman comes through, clears Kevin Ruck.
I just can't believe it.
Workman gets there too. These
Oh, look
cars
out,
all
guys.
clear. Oh,
Yellow
my.
flags should be out.
And this is why we don't know what's going to happen in F production until it's already done. Mason Workman finds himself after a phenomenal battle, a phenomenal drive, did not expect this at all, will come up to the checkered flag first.
Absolutely. This will be his first national championship. As you got to be there at the finish to finish first. You first must finish. The oldest adage in racing. And Ken Kennard's going to take second, one down. And look at that, Steven Simons right on Kennard's back bumper as he crosses the line in 3rd spot. David Bednars comes across in 4th. Charlie Campbell in his runoff swan song comes home with a top 5 finish.
Number 2 car there, that's a familiar car to a lot of Runoffs fans, formerly owned and driven by Eric Prill to some
Indeed.
championships.
Indeed.
Bill Verdeen has it now, and he started 15th, will finish in the 8th position, coming up right in front of Mark Webber and Gerald Lamb in a pair of red Miatas. Good charge forward for the driver out of Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, not too far from here.
Mark Webber also another top 10 for his resume.
I just can't believe Ruck has to sit and watch this race finish with his cockpit full of smoke down there in Canada Corner.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're down in Canada Corner, give that man a standing ovation.
Oh,
He
man.
deserved that race.
Oh man, yes. Oh man, yes. Oh my goodness gracious, what terrible luck. But hey, take nothing away from Mason Workman. He was in the thick of it all race long. You know, the Miata among all the Hondas, and he was the one who outlasted everybody except Ken Kennard. And look at the Miatas. It's with the Integra in 2nd spot, and then it's all Miatas all the way down to 10th position. And then Mike Nat in the MG Midget up to 11th at the end of the race.
That's a fantastic drive. There's the 112. We mentioned Bill Storms out of British Columbia, bringing that Del Sol home right in front of the PLP50, Volvo P1800. A little different, weird car, but the 29 car with those big bat wings on the back, bringing it home. Does that say for sale?
Robert Keller.
It does say for sale on the gas tank there.
Yeah. Robert Keller, the last car running, comes across the line in 19th position. Whoa, what an eventful race. My goodness gracious. But tip of the hat to Mason Workman getting the job done. Ken Kennard in 2nd, Steven Simons in 3rd. And those 3 will be making it around on their cool down lap as the safety vehicles there to console Kevin Ruck.
And this, in fact, will be the first national championship won by not only Mason Workman, but won by a Miata at Road America and F Production. It's always been either a Honda product, a Spitfire, or a Super 7. This is the first win for a Miata at this race.
I remember
track.
We talked about Eric Prill, now a multiple national champion. I remember at one of his races here, and I think it was in F Production, he had a brake failure in Canada on the last lap from the lead. So, you know, he and Kevin Ruck are in a very exclusive club who have come about 3 corners short of yet another national championship. But this man got all the corners done.
Yeah, I wonder
Mason
when when it'll sink in. He doesn't. Oh, there's a celebration. I was going to say, I haven't seen much celebrating yet. I know he knows that he's past Ruck, but it can't feel real just yet.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, both these drivers from Ohio, they certainly know each other well. And Mason Workman celebrating his first ever national championship. He's had 2 other medals, a pair of third-place finishes, but finally gets the gold. As he brings it around, celebrating, and makes it into the pit lane, where he'll join Ken Kennard and Steven Simons for the victory celebration. There's Mason Workman in the 52 Miata. A few leaves in the grill work. There's that number 2 of Bill Verdeen. Simons and Kennard already in position.
Yeah, I don't know that we got to mentioning it, but Steven Simons raced his way to a bronze medal after all of that drama. He was in that pack of 4 Miatas that was shuffling and shuffling and shuffling. He ended up at the front of the pack by the checkered flag. So the 63 of Steven Simons out of Texas, a fabulous job to come home at the right spot at the right time for a 3rd place.
Mason Workman getting his helmet off here, and once he's got that gold medal around his neck, we'll send it down to Hayward Wagner.
You want this off? You want the Hans off?
Yeah. You can stay in the car, Mason. Okay.
All right, there you go. Congratulations.
All right, Hayward, you've got a very surprised and a very happy gold medal winner in Mason Workman.
Mason, it's not often I don't know where to start one of these interviews, but I got to tell you, I don't.
Man, that was tough. We didn't have a lot for these big motored cars except for balls, and I don't know how to make it, but man, I went around Mosier on the outside of the carousel. I don't think I had anything for Kevin, but what what a race. Cannot believe it.
What did you think coming down to Canada on the last lap? Could you see that Ruck had lost the motor? Did you just see the oil? Did you see the smoke? What did you see?
Yeah, I saw the smoke, and then I slid through it, and just kind of lucked out. I went around the backside of him because I slid through his stuff. But 2 hours before this race started, the transmission was locked up, and we just kind of Frankensteined a gearbox together for this race. Bill and, geez, my daughter that was 11 and my son and my wife, my nephew, everybody just thrashed, and we made it to the grid, and here we are. This is unbelievable.
This is your first gold medal. You've tried several times. How does it feel to be a runoffs champion?
So it's strangely my 52nd national win and easily the most important. Geez, Hoosier and Carbotech and all these people to thank, and Chris Patrick and my parents, and it's amazing.
Well, you get to spend one more lap around this track. Enjoy your victory lap.
You can tell from the emotion, Mason Workman is a happy camper. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Don't forget your victory lap, Mason. You get to go around one more time.
And if you didn't catch that, it's his 52nd win. He races car number 52.
Yeah.
It was fate.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Getting congratulations from his crew, some of which I'm sure will be snaking a ride. Here's the unofficial standings with Mason Workman taking the win over Ken Kennard. Margin of victory just about 5.5 seconds. Steven Simons brings it home on the podium. David Bednarz, Charlie Campbell, Doug Weaver, Bill Verdeen, Mark Webber, Gerald Lamb, and Wiley Timbrook, your top 10. Let's send it right back down to Hayward Wagner, as he has got our second and third place finishers, Ken Kennard and Steven Simons.
Ken Kennard, in production racing, sometimes keeping your nose clean is all you need to do, and today you drove a pretty smart race. How's it feel?
Oh, that's awesome. It was one of the best runoffs I probably ever ran. It's too bad we had that full course caution. You know, I really would have rather ran green the entire time, but we had a great race. I mean, I was in those Miatas like Every time I get by, a couple pass me back, and it was just back and forth and back and forth. We had it was just a tough race, but well, the last 2 laps, I finally got clear of them and then just drove. So, yeah, it was just staying out of trouble. And sometimes I had to kind of let somebody go to, stay out of trouble.
Well, great job staying out of trouble. Another driver who stayed out of trouble, we got Steven Simons here. A bronze for you. This is your first runoffs podium?
That it is, yeah. It's by far my best finish at the runoff, so I'm still not quite sure what just happened. But, yeah, no, it's been a tough week until now, so this is awesome.
When you came into Canada, did you know Kevin was there? Did you know there was something? Did you see flags? What was your preparation coming into Canada Corner?
I just saw smoke and kind of smelled something and came around and saw him sitting there, and it was just, I was trying to count in my head, 1, 2, whoa, this may be cool. So, so yeah.
Well, cool indeed. Congratulations on the bronze.
Thank you very much.
Some very happy podium finishers, obviously. John Doonan there to celebrate, obviously. John, long affiliated with Mazda, and congratulating his Mazda-clad winners. So great job for him. Great to see John here this weekend with the partnership between SCCA and IMSA. As we get a look at the highlights, Cliff Ira taking the early lead.
This was that fabulous battle that Mason Workman was saying, I don't have the pace, but I've got the bravery, Alter. He's just doing everything he possibly can. Hints of weakness from Joe Mosier early on. And then it was that yellow and orange Miata from a little further up the road, a lapped car that would ultimately end up with Cliff Ira out of the race. But they had such a good battle up before that. Hands waving, everybody slow down. For the most part, everyone makes it out clean, especially for the kink, except for those unfortunate 2.
You can see Mason Workman waving his arms, warning the people behind him. And then Ken Kennard going around Joe Mosier, who clearly had developed a problem. And then this is the heartbreak. On the last lap, coming to the checkered flag, Kevin Ruck's motor expires in the most frustrating way, a kerblamo, as Steve Matchett would say. And Mason Workman picks up the pieces and comes home with his first runoffs win. Ken Kennard finishing second, Steven Simons third. And they're going to head out on their victory lap, but we've got more racing to come. So thanks so much for being with us. Thanks to Mazda for presenting this broadcast. On behalf of Tom O'Gorman, I'm John Phippen. Hayward Wagner down in the pits. We'll see you down the road.
When you come back, we're going to pull you in. You're going to...
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.